Chest up, shoulders back. This is Revival Fitness, your home for gains and brains. And we are here again. We've had a body transformation go viral. I believe this was about 12 weeks. You can see he got pretty darn lean. He went from, looks like around, you could say about 20-ish% body fat on the left. Then on the right, he looks to be low teens, maybe even roughly 10% or so. He's got very visible abs. He's cut up. He's looking sharp. Okay, so his name is Olly Murs. Some of you probably know who that is. But this guy asks, do you think he looks better before or after? And are you male or female? So we had 4,920 votes. It's a decent sample size. So 24% of men said before, 43% of men said after, 27% of women said before, 7% of women said after. So at least in principle, the main focus of this poll is this guy's physique. But we're going to talk about this coming up as well. Something that is not getting enough attention is his face. On that note, he does have very clear skin in both of these pictures. He probably uses, the partner of today's video, Geology. Geology creates simple and effective skincare routines customized just for you, with simple ingredients that are proven to work. They have won 41 awards for their skin, hair, and body products, recognized in Men's Health, Hypebeast, Birdie, Esquire, Ask Men, and Oprah's Daily Grooming Awards, to name a few. No matter what your exact skincare goals are, Geology has got you covered. It starts with a simple 60-second quiz on their website. Answer the questions, tell them about your skin and your skincare goals, and they will develop a dermatology-grade, personalized routine and deliver it right to your door. Geology has over 10,000 5-star reviews, and I am noticing benefits in my own skin, my biggest issue being redness on the face. Geology takes all the guesswork out of it, and they give you specific instructions on what to use, how much to apply, and the best times of day for best results. So what are you waiting for? Use my code and grab 70% off of your personalized skincare trial set. That's a full month trial for only $12. Plus you get a free gift and up to 50% off add-ons. Trust me, your skin will thank you. So this user, Teoki, with the little red panda avatar, he says, why are women lying about this? Like, what's the actual cause? So the first big reply here that I noticed is from King Doggo Good Boy. Yeah, we have the experts here on X. Some women are so insecure / needy / lazy / selfish, and will say they don't want a guy that so-called lives in the gym. And then underneath that, a woman named Stax says, you're thinking too much, stop, I beg you. We like him because he looks more powerful. So right off the bat, this is very key. Because dudes see these two physiques, they immediately equate more powerful and strong and athletic and functional, the F word, whatever terms that come to mind, they immediately associate that with the guy with lower body fat. One, not only is that untrue, because the leaner that you get, the more that your overall performance and strength and all these other things is going to diminish to some extent, and number two, that's not true through the lens of women. Just because as a man that's what you may perceive as a goal, that does not mean that's what women are going to be, or even should be, attracted to. It does not mean that they're biologically wired to be into that, no matter how much you may want them to be. Underneath that, somebody says, you guys need to seriously consider that women do not like cuddling with hard, thin bodies. Another guy says, this is just the male version of women who says, a real man wouldn't care if I have a kid. No, people don't want that baggage. Many women don't want a guy that does what it takes to have a physique like that. Your opinion sounds like wishful thinking from a single dude. The classic wife says, genuinely, he looks so much better before. The male and female gaze are completely different. That's right. Elise says, the guy on the left eats well and plays with his kids. Guy on the right is insufferable and wants to know the macros of everything before he takes a bite. What it takes to not only attain, but even maintain this physique right here, staying even in the low teens body fat for the vast majority of men is not easy. It's very time consuming. You have to be on track with every single thing you eat. You have very little leeway. You're in the gym very often. This seems to come as a shock to a lot of guys, but most women don't want to put up with that, because by default that means you are going to be high maintenance. Women at their base operating mode are generally higher maintenance. They don't want to date a guy that is even higher maintenance than them. Guys will say this is a dad bod. I mean, he's got some ab definition, even on the left. He clearly has some muscle mass. It's not a remarkable amount, but it's clearly there. To normal women, and I know the vast majority of you guys watching are attracted to normal women. You're not into the hardcore gym girls with six-packs and traps sticking out and cap delts. You guys will comment this all the time on these women's posts. They look like men. Then the normal women that you want to attract, they'll say, hey, we like the guy that's higher body fat, and you get upset. Oksana says, zero sex appeal in a guy on the right. I'd love to chat with him about workout routines, protein shakes, and carb-to-protein ratio, but that's about it. Nicola says, some maybe. I prefer a man who is out there doing some good in the world, as opposed to being obsessed with the gym. Okay, well, you could do both. You could be obsessed with the gym, and still being a kind person, doing good things, donating to charity, whatever. That's a false dichotomy. But she raises a similar point. Now, Angel says, I live in the gym, still pick the before. That's something else as well, simply because a woman goes to the gym a lot herself, and maybe she even watches what she eats, mostly. That does not mean she wants a guy who does the same thing, but at an even higher level. Now, I've talked about before a lot of women that are seriously into the gym, like they count every macro, they may compete themselves, they are really hell-bent about it. They're more likely to go for the lean and even more and more muscular looks. But even general women that go to the gym, it doesn't really seem to pan out that way. Now, this woman, Natalia, says, I love the gym and prefer the right picture. He looks more primal, strong, yet also the type who will enjoy the bison tacos I make for him. He's still attractive on the left, but the primal aesthetic is missing. Nobody's lying here. It was an anonymous poll. You know, she mentions the bison tacos. Was she confusing the left and the right? Because the bison tacos makes it sound like, you know, an uncounted macro type of meal. We'll take her word for it as it's there. But even so, just from this single reply thread, she's in the minority. But the biggest point with her post, she says it's an anonymous poll. That's the funniest thing. Because all of these guys, as we're going to see, they make it out like women have this modus operandi, like they're planning this behind the scenes, and women all get together and say, okay, we're gonna throw the men off the scent. We're gonna say that we prefer the higher body fat versions, but we actually prefer the low body fat versions. It's always this retroactive cuckolding, and the guys will comment too, oh yeah bro, but they say one thing but they do the other. They'll sleep with the lean guy, and then they'll make the heavier set guy pay all the bills. As if that's gonna be universally the case. Kate says, no, you're lying to yourself. You have to believe women want the second look when we are all telling you it's horrible because it gives you a goal. Okay, I get what she means there. Like, because it's a goal for him, he wants it to be attractive to women. Then Lotus says, it's incredible that you actually believe women disagreeing with you are lying, because how could you be wrong? And something to keep in mind too, a lot of the content that these guys watch, if it's typical fitness content, or dating content, or some of this looks maxing content too, they're gonna see the leanness being pushed all the time, so they think that's what women want. You'll notice, though, the people telling them that are men. Next up, natcat.eth. Is Ethereum still a thing? Says, left is way better. Here we go. Now Frank jumps in and says, this is the closest to the right answer on the whole thread. It makes them question their own appearance. If they have low self-esteem, they'll even sabotage his efforts. They're also more concerned he'll leave her if he's fit. Subconsciously, they believe dad bod won't stray. And I understand the premise of what he's saying. It's not even going to necessarily make them question their own appearance. It might for some women, but that is not universally going to be the case. Now, as Susie Q underneath says, men like you who psychoanalyze women as an entire single thinking class are really undesirable to women. There you go. And something else too, he mentioned that women think that the so-called dad bod won't stray. A lot of women that have been cheated on by guys, they'll tell you, and they'll show you sometimes, they're not remarkably attractive men in terms of face or body. A lot of women have very, very poor decision-making with men, but that's for another day. King Doggo Goodboy is back. He says, when women have flat out asked me on dating apps directly, do you live in the gym, and put that on their dating profiles, I feel like there's something more going on. The women are probably thinking, a lot of them, tell me if you live in the gym, because if you do, we're not going to be compatible. Maybe for a night or two, maybe like a short-term thing, but long-term, I'm not going to date a guy that does that. Russo says, can y'all just listen to women? They always say, oh, women lie, bro. Guys, there's plenty of stuff that women do lie about. Really, everybody lies about. especially in the context of dating and romance. That said, these are online polls. A lot of them are from anonymous accounts. I don't believe there's a grand conspiracy about lying. I love a good conspiracy. I really do. But the tinfoil hats some of you guys have on about this, it doesn't add up. And on that note, Naj says, me when I make up conspiracy theories instead of just listening to what women say about women's opinions. Jill says, are you projecting your feelings of women onto women? Maybe. I can't speak for all women, but the dude before looks happier, healthier, and hotter than the skinny dude with abs. And it has absolutely nothing to do with if I think he'll stray, lol. That's a whole nother conversation, like I mentioned. NGK says it's the shorts. Yeah, the shorts are why women are going to pick the one on the left. Just the shorts. Okay. Now this woman, the feminist turned housewife, says, I'm begging men to understand that we aren't lying. Ophelia's ghost says it blows my mind that men do not understand how gay the after photo codes to women. It's literally repulsive. Oh man. You notice the replies from women here. They are not really thirsting over this dude. Like, they say they prefer the physique on the left, but they're not really putting all the heart eyes or the fire emojis and the gifs and the memes. They're just saying what they prefer. I think what that really comes down to above anything else, even the physique, is this guy's face. So I talked to a couple women that I know about this. Both of them had said, this guy's not remarkably attractive, so we're gonna have a future video coming about a similar scenario, and the women are totally thirsting over that guy. You'll see him shortly. And I'm not the type of guy that's gonna come on here and rate other guys' faces. His face looks more gaunt in the photo on the right. And that's very common for most men. If you get quite lean, you're going to look more sickly because you're going to lose some face fat. And having some level of face fat is going to make most men look more attractive. Even if you've got this massive Giga Chad square jawline, which most guys don't, having a decent level of body fat is going to be better than having very low. Sandra Meyer says his face looks more handsome with fuller cheeks. Like I said. Hi says, I think this is an example where women are mostly honest, but aren't elaborating. His face looks weird on the right, older and not proportional to his body anymore. If women were being fully honest, they'd say left face on the right body. I guess if you want to tell yourself that, even so, that's not happening, right? You cannot lose fat all over your body, but somehow keep it only in your face. This woman says, okay, hide his body with your hand and look at his face. The second face is too lean, he looks older or like an addict. As for the body, I still prefer the first one, but the second one is less horrible when I hide the face. Ooh, I have an entire YouTube channel that talks mostly about lifting weights and building muscle. I'm the first one to tell you guys, muscles usually for most women are not the most important thing. For some women, a smaller demographic, yes. For most women, face is more important. From there you can debate face or height. Depends on the woman, but face and height are battling for number one, and it's especially not leanness. It's hard to tell for sure, but it looks to me like his hair is receding a bit more in the photo on the right. When it comes to cutting, hair loss can become a thing, especially the harder and the more drastically that you cut. I noticed this myself during my prep last summer. My hair was thinning a bit toward the end. It seems to have recovered fully now, but that is not a good side effect. A lot of guys too, if they're going to take a good amount of gear, depending on how they respond to the gear too, they can lose their hair pretty rapidly. And I talk about this as well. Pay attention to the head to torso ratio. If you compare them from the left to the right, he looks more sick, brah, from the gym bro and male perspective on the right, because of the abs, and more vascular, but look how much bigger his head looks in comparison to his body. This is where we come into the shirt test. Put this guy in a shirt, out in public, he's going to take up more space, look more dominant, if you want to use that term. He's going to just be bigger overall on the left. Now, Bingus also says, the guy on the right looks small, his head looks too big for his body, and he looks like he's gay. Well, I don't know about being gay, but yeah, the torso to head thing definitely. And here's another great example of the male delusion. Goku is literally me. Holy shit, man. He says, bro is so much more physically fit to protect and serve his family. He means on the right. Help a man understand, because I don't get it. So once again, a basic litmus test here. He thinks the guy is automatically more physically fit to protect and serve his family when he's lower body fat. Mind you, it's not going from like 30% to 20, or even down to 15. We're talking about 20% down to low teens. The idea that having visible abs, let alone just low body fat in general, equates to physical fitness or ability to protect, that's not true. G says, women don't know what they prefer. A ripped guy will always excite them more on a primal level, even if they don't like to admit it or even know it. Okay, once again, man, these dudes act like women have no agency. Like, oh, she's really excited by this guy, but she just doesn't realize it. Emma O'Connor says, we are literally telling you what we prefer, and men in these comments are like, women definitely like this guy, even though 90% will say we don't. Yeah, it never ends. He says, I will never understand why women insist on lying to themselves and the world. You are such strange creatures. Chirpy Chet says, I will never understand how men are so confident at asserting utter bullshit, whilst the world can see them lying to themselves and the world. You are such strange creatures. That's Uno Reverse. Grandpa Funk says, you like the one on the right more, and you're projecting this onto all women, and apparently trying to gaslight them too. Now, Lara raises a good point here too. She says, I think it's more biological, more about survival. The before looks like he'd survive a famine, the after does not. These guys are always talking about primal protection. So if you want to look at it from that perspective, having more body fat, not too much, because people strawman this, oh, you're saying women are into fat guys. No, I'm not. That's not what anybody here is saying. But within a reasonable range, having more body fat from that context is better. Sarah says, yes we do. Stop mansplaining what women prefer just because you fancy him more after. Amy says, nope. Looks like you're the one who doesn't know what women want. Oh, they're all over this guy. And then Christina says, silence, incel. You are single and lonely. Then Eric says, you need some fat. Not what's on the left. Ideal fat is somewhere between 10 to 15. Again, these guys just throw out these numbers. 10 to 15, what are you basing that on? Again, your own personal preference. The guy on the right, I think he means the left, is probably 35%, maybe more. No, that is not close to 35% body fat. But please lecture us, you dumbass. Lynn says, to me, in the photo on the right, he looks too skinny. I understand that he's stronger in the photo on the right. Well, that's not true. Any lifter can tell you the more that you cut down, the more strength that you're going to lose. Even if it's not severe, especially stuff like pressing, which guys are obsessed with, you're going to lose some strength. So she's wrong right off the bat. She's making the same faulty assumption. She says, for some reason, the man on the left looks like a guy that could pull off wearing flannel while wielding an axe, chopping firewood in the winter. That's sexier. So here is the male and female gaze a woman brought up earlier too. Women are thinking of a guy doing physical labor, chopping down trees, hauling stuff around. Guys see the dude with the abs, and they envision him on the beach, or on a bodybuilding stage, or in a photo shoot. Another cartoon avatar, Jack Wolfgang is literally me. Didn't some other guy have that same? It was Goku's literally me. What is wrong with you fricking terminally online guys, man? These dudes are probably all fat as shit. I think it makes them more self-conscious. Who cares what women think, though? Be what gets the results you need for the virtues you're trying to pursue. Well, sure, I like when guys take this angle. Well, who cares what women want, bro? The entire context of this conversation, and all like them, are about women's preferences. You can lift for yourself. I hope that's what you're doing. Don't only do it for women. That said, this is a cop-out. And then Darks underneath says, you're trying to be with women, but don't understand why you're not attractive to women in general, right? We're giving you an answer, and you're still pushing back. Wolfgang says, I'm not trying to be with women. I'm trying to be a better man. I don't care about women, especially if trying to be with one that forces me to compromise on being the man I ought to be. I'd rather die alone and great than in a relationship and mediocre. Okay, let me just type this reply real quick because it's true. Underneath that, Thomas says, and women feel the exact same way. Anthony says, and you will die alone. Abigail says, and so you shall. Yeah, this is classic, like, Sigma gym cell coping. Oh, I do everything for myself and not for women. And then he's always in these comment sections about women. But he doesn't do anything for them, he doesn't care. But they're always on his mind. More coping here from Brandon. He says, people see the guy on the right and see discipline and hard work. Insecurity sets in their brain, and they rather not feel bad about themselves. Just a dumb narrative that's been spun that healthy, in-shape people are assholes to make the lazy feel better. Okay, so a guy who is, say, this body fat is automatically lazy. Again, it's always this warrior, grind set mode mentality these dudes have. It's just ridiculous. Brotherhood, with an AI account image of some Chad-looking dude, says this, like so much else women do, is easily disproved by simply observing female actions and not their words. Far more attractive women date the guy on the right. Who? And another classic from JP. I'm begging women to understand that we don't care, and we're gonna keep grinding. And then Fialo says it's literally men who asked, you weird loser. And some guy says it's okay to be gay, you do you. Always coming up with gay in these conversations. JP says not wanting to be fat is gay? Okay, got it. And then this guy posts a picture from this guy's page, it's him with his friends. Nobody in this picture looks to be much lower than the dude in the left in the original picture. I notice it's funny too, a lot of guys online talk about, wanting to be lean. Most of the dudes that comment on these things, they've never been below 15% body fat. They'll never be below 15% body fat. Oftentimes they'll never be below 20. And then this guy says they're insecure, that's why they're choosing the before. If a woman's husband suddenly turned into the after, that will put pressure on them to get fit. Perhaps. Do you think if a woman has a certain look about her, which you don't know what a given woman's gonna look like, oftentimes if the man is really into her, no matter how she looks, if he gets more fit, he's still gonna like her. This woman says, we want life partners, not self-obsessed gym rats with body dysmorphia. That's something else too, man. It goes back to the high maintenance. You're gonna be not only monitoring all the food, be in the gym a lot, chances are you're gonna be taking a lot of pictures of yourself. It's just vain. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's what the pursuit of aesthetics is. Just because it's cool, or takes a lot of discipline, or you like it, it does not mean that women want to appreciate it. And even if they do, it doesn't mean they're attracted to it. Now here's an interesting take. TJ says, I don't think it's actually about his body, he's posing. He's trying to look good. It's all preening. I think if you had two men just out in the world living life, with each physique, the assessment would be different. To some extent perhaps, but once again, just the posturing itself, it's more try-hard, yeah. I don't think that's really going to impact things. There's still the face aspect. There's no gym for your face. There's diet for your face. I guess you can do certain jaw exercises too that could help to some extent. How much, I don't know. But we've seen women already say he looks better with more face fat. War Witch says, okay, I will explain. Please take this to heart. Any man who spends this much time in the gym is more into himself than he is into his family. That's going to be controversial. I get the premise. In fact, he's probably in the gym partly to get away from his family. Okay, I don't know about that. We're kind of jumping to conclusions there. I understand it in theory, but a lot of guys still love their family, even if they're very into the gym. There is more than just a streak of narcissism in a man who chases 1% body fat. Okay, this is very hyperbolic now. I'd much rather have a softer, more attentive man, more present in my life. Comments like this do not help your cause. Aaron Daisy says, he on the right looks as if he doesn't have a family, as if he's in love with only himself and only wants to pull young women. Interesting. The left guy's a family man. Something I notice with a lot of the lean as law guys, they tend to be young. Oftentimes 16 to 19 years old, maybe in college still. But no older guy really goes for that. Maybe a few really delusional ones. And I think women's preferences over time are going to change too. So commonly when girls are, say, 16 to 17 to 18, they like the skinny pop star guys. And the dudes who are not even terribly muscular often, just on the leaner side. Stick figure, noodle boys, they'll call them, whatever. Then as they get older, they will be into more body hair and facial hair and more bare looking guys. Some women are into that all the time. Some women have kind of oscillating phases. It can change, but overall I think her point here makes sense in the fact that women will see a guy that is really into his aesthetics, or even if he's just leaner in general, they perceive that as more of a fuckboy. Now how true is that? That's not going to be the case all the time. It can appear that way, but looks can be deceiving. And it goes on and on. So like I mentioned, stay tuned for a coming video. We're going to see an example of a guy who is not lean at all, and women are all over him. And be sure to check out Geology down below too. Get your skincare in order. No matter what your body looks like right now, it does not hurt ever to have clear skin. But this has been it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Check out my links down below. Get your workout program and check out my nutrition guide. Stop wasting your precious time and energy in the gym and in the kitchen. If you want to fill out the coaching form, that is in the description box too, or schedule a consultation call with me if you want to get your training and eating sorted in the most comprehensive way possible. And I will catch you guys next time.